rule of thumb, has to be quick, simple, and yummy. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. Today we are going to address the Q&A. Tori was a little bit concerned, stating that I might have mentioned I'm against wiring. Just let me clarify perfectly. I am not against wiring. I think it's a wonderful technique that's proven to work. My only gripe is that it has to be used appropriately or optimally in a situation. For example, a huge branch, I think it's really better to use a guide wire to pull it down to simulate nature than use a really big wire to hold it back, fighting it and so forth. One of my biggest heroes in bonsai is Kimura-san in Japan. And he is the most creative, innovative man that I've ever known. Just imagine he would take a juniper that's this tall with a big stake or root or whatever, branch or trunk or root, and he would cut off the middle part of that wood inside and take the cambium layer of the bark and wrap it around and put it in a little bonsai pot, and he will have a humongous tree that's really, really beautiful. I mean, can you imagine that, how creative that man is? Now, one thing he does that I'm opposed to actually about wiring is that once he finishes the tree, he sees there's a gaping hole, and he would take a big branch from here and pull it over using his wiring technique to fill this hole. And I tell you, it looks beautiful at a distance. From an artistic standpoint, he's did a wonderful job. But from my standpoint, want to keep bonsai natural as a representation of what nature brings us. To me, it's totally unnatural. So the tree looks nice at a distance, but to me, it doesn't, I don't like it when it's close up. But who am I to say what's right or what's wrong? So please use any technique that's applicable that you can dream of, think of from other fields, and to make your bonsai look nice. I think that's perfect. And please share with Bonsai Heirloom community about what you learned so that we can all improve. The next one is say that, bonsai is basically a meditation on death, which is really true. Life is half empty, half full, however you look at it. So if you look at bonsai, you say, I'm only going to live to 50 or 75. I'm already 84. The tree may outlive me someday. Well, that is life, and the positive way to look at it is the tree may outlive me, but it will provide legacy for my children, for my friends, for anybody that owns a bonsai. They see the virtue of my design idea. It's just a piece of art. So to me, bonsai is continuity and life and positive. It's all good. In fact, bonsai did me a lot of good to make me a very eternal optimist because I can see the opportunity. So I think the Bonsai Club has a very nice custom, which is like when one member dies, they would sell the trees at a modest price or give away to fellow members so that they can carry on taking care of the tree. And that's how you can see some really nice old bonsai circulating in the community. So please enjoy your bonsai while you're alive. Well, my wife commented, you look good for your 84 years old. Yeah, I must admit that I feel great. Although I do feel my age, it's not as youthful as I used to be. But I view all of you as a friend. So let me share with you my health secrets, if you will. I think today most people can live to 95. Not terribly difficult if you just a little bit pay a little attention. So there's several, I think 3 maybe main things that I do, and I can tell you more about it. I eat healthy, a healthy lifestyle as well. Basically, I eat a high protein Mediterranean diet, and I exercise. You need both to build your health and strength. And that has helped me tremendously. In fact, when I was about I would say 55 or so, 60 maybe. I even ran a marathon because I was so hooked on running because I had a little heart issue, and that helped me strengthen my heart. And the last thing is actually my mood. I'm an eternal optimist. I see the positive in anything I do, even in failures. Failures give me a challenge to think of ways to do things better the next time. So I always see the silver lining in anything that I do. And mood has a great deal to do with health. And bonsai teaches me to be positive and think long-term and perseverance. Because when I do a bonsai, I envision what it can become. And that makes me excited. Sometimes you can see that I'm so excited about a bonsai. And I'm so excited to now have a bonsai heirloom community. So let's all stay healthy. And if you like, write me and I share with you more detail. For example, what is my diet? Very simple rule of thumb. Has to be quick, simple, and yummy. How do I make a smooth trunk and the vein look nice and brown? Let's say, well, to each his own. So if you have especially a juniper, the trunk grows in strips. So if you stop peeling a strip off, that strip can become white eventually, and the rest of the bark will be brown. So you can create that. In Japan, in Japanese bonsai books, they also talk about hammering your tree. You take a little hammer, you don't break the bark, but you hammer it to scar it, to damage it. And when it heals, it'll be rough and so forth. I don't like to do that. I think it's kind of imposing on nature, but you can do that. Anyway, try to figure out a way to do the way you like it, because I don't know exactly what you want to do. But I think bonsai, like my junipers, I keep it really natural. I do minimal amount of carving and so forth. But I will someday to clean it up to make it a little bit more tidy. But some, especially in bonsai books, the nice dead branch totally painted white, and then the red branches to complement it. It's really beautiful, but it's not something I do, but to each his own. Is it possible to grow the trees in the ground or to take it out of the ground and pot it? Well, I said it many times now. If it's growing in the ground, it grows fastest. You can fertilize it a lot, water a lot, and the tree will grow fast. And if you clip it in the meantime, it will fill out in the direction you want. And then when you dig it out, you got plenty of branches to work with. And that's what I did. Up until about 10 years ago, that's what I did because I was busy with my business. And I put all my trees in the ground. And now I have a lot of materials to do demonstration to you. You can see a lot of them are getting very old, and that's wonderful material. So that's growing the ground is one way. The difficulty is that you got to twist your head and use your imagination what it will be when you reorient at a certain angle, and also how to make the branches to provide you the curves. Putting in the bonsai pot early is not a good thing to do. I have a juniper in the ground. 25 years later, it's this thick. In the same tree I put it in a bonsai pot, it's only about this big. It just really deprived. No matter how careful you fertilize it, you just deprive it its growth. My compromise is to grow in an oversized nursery pot. That's the best of all worlds. You can put a lot of fertilizer around the pot so as not to damage the roots, and they will grow as fast as you want it to be. Would a 3-year-old tree grow better in my standard soil? Well, my standard soil is no big deal, very simple. Any soil would do if it would do 3 things for you. One is to hold moisture and hold the tree, of course, hold moisture. The second is hold fertilizer. And the third is to give it a lot of air, in a sense of porosity for the air to reach the roots. And even if it doesn't hold much fertilizer like akadama, which only holds in the pores, is that you can put slow release fertilizer or constantly fertilizer on a weekly or monthly basis. The tree will grow quite well. How often do you use your chicken pellets. I found chicken pellets to be really maybe the least expensive and excellent bonsai fertilizer. I would say as good as fish emulsion, but you know, certainly the fish and kelp is less yucky. But I tell you, chicken manure pellets is not yucky. They are dry pellets, not smelly. If you, especially when you wear gloves, you can spread it easily. I would say a rule of thumb is that 1 pellet per square inch of your bonsai pot. And for growing pots, you can put a lot more. And I fertilize in the summer, beginning of the month, fish fertilizer, middle of the month, pellets, and then again. And then I reduce it to half in the cooler weather and then stop altogether in the winter seasons. I am Germany and I cannot root my air layer or root my Ficus benjamini. Well, you know, Ficus benjamini is a tropical plant. And actually, for air layering, for cutting, definitely you want to start in the springtime and the summertime, especially if you use softwood cutting. They root very quickly, very easily, whether you're in Germany or in California. But for air layering, I say you can do that anytime, except in the summertime or the growing season, it's easier to remove the bark. If you don't remove the bark cleanly, it will not root properly. So apply hormone and then wrap it, don't let it dry out. And if you do it in the spring, by fall, you can cut it off and root it, it will be rooted. The next question is along the same line, is that what should I do when I pot the plant from the ground, or what do I do about winterizing? Well, I think if you have a tree in a nursery pot in the ground, I'd rather you pot it in the springtime, because your area in Washington, you can freeze, and that may do the root damage. So, but aside from that, you know, you can repot generally at any time, aside from worrying about freezing. Bonsai is really easy, just really a few simple rules to keep in mind. With that, then, I thank you. Please click like if you think I'm informative. And please subscribe to our channel and send us your email address so that we will send you a notification. Please tell a friend. We like to grow our bonsai heirloom community. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.